It's an interesting sequence of talks because, sorry to disappoint, but Bitcoin's property rights are only as absolute as you're able to keep a distance between a $5 range and your head. I'm Antoine Poinsot, co-founder of Wizardsardine and Bitcoin Core contributor. We worked on Revolt, the Vault architecture. We designed it and implemented it at Wizardsardine. And nowadays, we are working on Lanna, which is a wallet for recovery. Today, I'm going to talk about Abvolt, which has been proposed by James O'B. And James did a good job at communicating around the Vault use case, around the increasing your security using Abvolt. And I'm trying to take a different approach and present Abvolt as a use case for recovery instead of security to make sure that you, to be more confident that you're not going to lose your coins. First of all, some soft fork was proposed with Abvolt being included. I'm not sure how serious this proposal is, but anyhow, I'm not advocating for any soft fork at all. It's just interesting to think through the use cases, and it would be nice as well if two things can be true at the same time. We're interested in this class of functionalities that we call covenants, and we don't want to be advocating for a soft fork every other week. Okay, cool. So in order to be able to present Abvolt, I need to go through the vault, then I'll describe the Abvolt vault, then I'll describe how Abvolt, the app code, actually works to enable this vault, and then I'll zoom out to describe how we can apply this app code to Lanna for recovery. So vaults are just a way of using Bitcoin to make payment not only in one transaction, but in two transactions, such as the first transaction is going to time lock the coins so that they can be spent in a later transaction, which is going to be time locked just to leave time for someone to cancel a spending attempt, a withdrawal attempt. So that's a regular transaction in Bitcoin. You get some of your coins, trade a transaction. In the output, you put the addresses of the recipients. The money changes hands in a single transaction. With Vault, the money does not change hands at the first transaction. You're going to unvault the coins or trigger an unvault. The coins are going to be time locked for some period during which you can cancel and get back the coins in your wallet, let's say. We also refer to this as a revolt sometimes. And if nobody canceled, after some time, you'll be able to spend it to an external address. So there's been a number of proposals about how to achieve this functionality, and there is trade-offs in all of them. And Abvolt was designed around this use case. So the other ones are more primitives that check out BitVerify as well. But anyway, they all have different trade-offs, and I'm not going to present all of them in detail since I want to go to Abvolt with recovery, but I highly encourage you guys to check out bitcoinsearch.xyz if you are interested in digging further in those. So check out BitVerify. Is basically you send back the coins to the same pattern. They call that a pattern. We could call that a script descriptor nowadays, over and over again until the time lock can actually expire. Pre-committed vault using or leveraging CDV in order to create a chain of transaction and to make sure that an output can only be spent by a very specific transaction. And so you can chain these app codes, change these transactions, and you can create some sort of a vault using this. And you can emulate these pre-committed chains by pre-signing a chain of transaction and deleting the private key, which somehow emulates a CTV. Then there is Revolt, which was about you receive coins on a multisig, and the participants in this multisig are going to pre-sign an unvault and a cancel transaction and pass this to the managers. The managers, since they are not part of the multisig, will have to broadcast the pre-signed Unfold transaction in order to be able to spend the funds, which leaves the opportunity for the participants in Multic to cancel any outgoing attempt. And then there is Abvolt. So Abvolt, as I mentioned, is designed around the Vault use case. So its purpose is to be seamless in how it's going to be used. So pretty much, like, it's very, very close to a regular wallet. You're only going to have, when you set up your wallet, to pick a time lock to be used when you make outgoing payments. It could be 2 hours, 2 weeks, 6 months, to give you time to revolt the outgoing spends. And you have to pick the keys to trigger an unvolt, and the key to be able to make the second stage transaction, the actual spend transaction. And that's basically it. And it's very different from the other Vault proposals. So you can just give away addresses and receive any amounts on these addresses. And when you want to spend from this Vault, you just grab a set of coins, pretty much like today's in a wallet, pick an amount, create an Unvolt transaction that is going to commit to the spend transaction to be used later with a time lock. So how do we achieve it? So we are going to receive coins on a script that is going to first check a signature, like a regular wallet, just to authenticate the trigger of the Unvolt. It's going to make sure that we transfer the value, like if we are going to spend many deposited coins, we need to make sure that all the value is actually funneled inside the Unvolt output and not to some other random output, and the change output as well. And then it's going to make sure that there is a CTV commitment to the spend transaction to be used in the future. So with the graphic, we've got our Unvolt transactions, which is transactions that the wallet is going to craft to make an outgoing payment. So that's the Unvolt output, that's a change, and you're selecting multiple coins to be spent. You sign it like a regular wallet, otherwise anybody on the network can tamper with your transaction. The Abvolt covenant makes sure that the value is actually transferred to the change output and the Unvolt output, not to some other random output, and that the Unvolt output actually has a CTV commitment to the spend transaction to be used. That's very important because anybody who could consider canceling, revolting an outgoing attempt need to know where the coins are actually going to go in the end. So you basically disclaim, all right, I'm going to send these coins to these addresses, these addresses, these addresses, and whether it is a human, whether it is a watchtower on the network, they have all the information to decide whether or not to cancel your attempt. Okay, and how does the actual opcodes enables this use case? So Abvolt is going to take from the stack a script that is literally a script pushed as a witness stack element to be used for the Unvolt output afterwards. It's going to take n more witness stack elements to be fed as input to this script. And then it's going to just say, well, the output of this transaction needs to be the same taproot tree, except that the current leaf that is being executed is replaced with this script that I just consumed from the stack with the witness stack element. So typically, for what I just presented before, it's going to have a CTV in the script itself, and when you create the Unvolt, you're going to put the actual hash of the spend transaction you're going to use as a witness stack element, so that it's not fixed. The spend transaction needs not to be fixed, so that's why it consumes stack from the witness. It consumes the input from the witness. Then it's just going to take the indexes of the output just to check that the value is conserved across the transaction. Okay, so that's Abvolt. Now, Lanna. So Lanna, take a step back, is not a vault. Lanna is just a simple Bitcoin wallet that is usable today, and it allows one to have some time-locked path. So you've got your regular spending path like your regular wallet, your 12 walls, and your key, you can spend your coins. But in addition, after some time, some other set of keys can become available to spend your coins. So it's useful in various situations, such as, for instance, for inheritance. You've got a time-locked key to a heir, to a spouse, to children. And as long as you're alive and spend your coins from your wallet, the time lock is just going to be restarted over and over again. If you don't use your wallet for more than a year, automatically they'll be able to spend your coins. So that it's kind of a semi-trusted way of having inheritance. Same for the safety net. You could, instead of giving away the recovery key to your heir, it could be a third party. Whereas today, people are using custodian because they're afraid that they would lose their key. You could just have the third party as a recovery key. They can't spend your coins, so they can steal them. They can't censor your transaction. But if you've got a botting accident, you can always opt in to trust them. But you don't trust them in the first place, only if your coins expire. Well, the time lock in your coins expire. You can also have some interesting scheme for more secure backups. So that today, the standard is like, you've got your key in your hardware wallet and you've got your mnemonics backed up somewhere. If someone puts their hands on your mnemonics, you're done. Funds are gone. Instead, what you could use is two keys. You only back up the recovery key, you use the primary key in the main path that is available, but it's only stored in your hardware device. And the backup, you use a tamper-evident way of backupping your recovery key, such as you check your backup regularly. Let's say you use a 1-year time lock. Every year you check your backup. If someone tampered with your backup, it lets you time to react and spend your coins because the backup does not give away access to your coins immediately. And you can also use that with decaying multisigs. Like today, we need to bake in the recovery inside the multisig immediately. You're not going to use a 5 out of 5 multisig. That's stupid. You're going to use a 3 out of 5. So you give away some security to make sure that you're able to recover your coins in case of a key loss. But you could do that with decaying multisig by, instead of making it able to spend with less key immediately, only do that after a time lock. All right. But today it's not perfect because the time lock actually starts ticking by the time you receive the coins, because we've got a check sequence verify inside the script on which you are going to receive your coins. So you need to regularly be using your wallet, or if you're not, you need to, once a year, spend your coins so that it creates a change output which restarts the time lock. It would be nice if we didn't have to refresh these coins because, well, first of all, we don't have to make more transactions. There's less fees, less opportunities to shoot yourselves in the foot by, I don't know, consolidating coins that you actually didn't want to consolidate. And also, when you receive your coins, they're not going to be received at the same time. Therefore, the time lock is not going to expire at the same time. It would be nice if we can just have a way of triggering a recovery, and only at this point does the time lock start. And that's what we can do with Abvolt. Instead of, so basically you're not going to have the check sequence verify immediately in the scripts where you receive your coins. You're just going to have an Abvolt to which you push on the stack a script which has itself the check sequence verify. It's just an interaction, basically. So before, let's say the botting accident slash, scripts. Previously, you would have your key as, let's say, the internal taproot key, and you would have a taproot leave that is the third-party key after 1 year. But now you'd only put that as a recovery script for Abvolt, and that's basically it. And to trigger it, you also have the third-party key who can trigger a recovery. Then once I've triggered the recoveries, I need to wait for 1 year to be able to spend with the key. Same thing with the inheritance. Here I've got a 2 out of 3 between the spouse, the child, and the notary in case the spouse and child don't agree once you've got hit by a bus. So previously, we would have this as a leaf in your taproot directly, so you have to refresh your coins every so often. With Abvolt, you can make it so a 2 out of 3 of the wife, the notary, and the child can trigger a recovery process, let's say, and only at this point does the time clock start ticking. Okay, so I've got a post on delving Bitcoin as well, which goes more into the details, and there is some trade-off in how we want to have the recovery scripts. We could have multiple taproot leaves. Okay, step back. You can have multiple recovery paths. You can have one path that is available after 6 months, another after 9 months, another after 1 year. And that's all ORs, right? That's all the junctions. So they can all be different leaves in the taproot. But with Abvolt, you can either choose to have n Abvolt leaves, but it means that they are going to be conserved as you move to the Unvolt. You are going to still have some Abvolt leaves, which can be annoying. Also, should we also directly time lock the path on which you receive the coins? Maybe, and it intersects as well with this. So that's open questions. I treated them in my Delving Bitcoin post. If you're interested, go check it out. And yeah, that's basically it. There is some resources. Abvolt is BIP345. Lanna is wizardsardine.com/Lanna. And check out Bitcoin Search, that's XYZ. Like, it contains all the resources necessary to delve a little bit more. Cool. Questions? Yes. Yeah. Are you asking about pre-committing to the output of the spend transaction, the second one? So in Abvolt, so that's the trick with the, you take the input to the script that is pushed on the stack directly. So what you are going to have is like the script on which you receive the coins is going to have a CTV, but no argument to the CTV. And so when you create this transaction, you are going to pass on the witness the CTV hash that you actually want to commit to. And somehow you would distribute the spend transaction to the network monitors, to anybody else, so that they can see, all right, I've got 1 day before the guy is going to use this spend transaction. It's committed to, I know there is no other spend transactions that can ever be used. Am I okay with it? Yes. And that's not malleable because you're signing the Unvolt transaction. Anything else? Okay, so I still see the Wasabi challenge people here. So maybe I'll give you another hint. The word was part of my talk, and you could have seen the word even on the live stream and even without sound. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Miami, for the last 3 years in this amazing city. The whole world shut down, but Miami welcomed us with open arms. We want to show Bitcoin to the whole world. We are taking the conference on the road to set the stage for Bitcoin in a new city. Nashville. Bitcoin 2024 is coming to Nashville in Tennessee, a city that is known as a music and freedom city. Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville from July 25th to 27th.